Okay, so continuation to other topics like what we have discussed in previously, the hooks we have completed use state and use effect. Now I believe you guys are somewhat aware of use state and use effect. Maybe if you haven't, if you are not that much of comfortable, I request you to see again the videos which we have this what are the concept we have discussed for use state and use effect. So on brief, I shall continue with the next hook called use context. So this is one common this is one common hook which you will be seeing, which we will be using along with context API. So actually previously we have been discussing something regarding concept called prop drilling. I hope you guys have been aware of or aware of those concepts like prop drilling. So when it comes to prop drilling, it sort of like arises because of data transfer between the parent components and nested child components. Here what happened? From parent component you will be passing the data, and nested components if if there is a component which needs the data which is deeply nested, then you need to pass the prop all the way through all the way through all the components which are intermediate between the parent and the nested last child component which require the data. So here sort of like unnecessarily you are passing the prop throughout the tree component tree. So now to avoid this, so in such scenarios, you'll be seeing the issue called prop drilling. To avoid a prop drilling, we have a solution. We define a solution called state management. Okay. So now, such in the series of state management, we have seen the concept of context API and also Redux. Now let's go back to context API, context API. There, so the main key concept is something creating a context and passing the context to root level component, and the root level, from that root level component, all the child components would receive the context value, and the value can be used across the child components. That is the base concept of context API. So I hope you are you remember the concept of context API. If not, please go back to video which I have discussed about context API. It's necessary to understand the context API when it comes to when it in terms of understanding use context hook. So you need to be thorough with context API first. Okay. So I suggest you to go back to the lecture which has the context API discussion, and just please to take a look onto it and then come back here, and then you can continue with the video. Okay. Next, continue with the session. So next, so here when you create a context to when you create a context and you have provided the context which you have created for root level component, and inside that root level component there are multiple multiple chains. So one of the child requires the context value. Now what you need to do means to consume the value, to consume the created context value, you need to use one hook known as use context. So I shall go there and show you one example how it works actually. Okay, let us go back to context API first. See, here the context API which I have discussed. Okay, so once after creating the context, what you have did, we did something like we created a context, something like user set user, and you have provided this context user context to parent component. It's a root level component, and the value you are providing for context is user, where you have created it as a state variable. Now user is a context which is going for parent component. Inside inside parent component tree, you have some child called grandchild, some child called grandchild. For example, you can see when you given something, when you given when you gave a value to parent component, inside this parent component, somewhere else you will be having this grandchild component as a deeply nested component. Now your task is something that without if parent has some intermediate childs like a component b component c component d, and then you have a grandchild component. So instead of passing the prop all through a b c d, you can directly consume the value of context by using the use context hook. See here what I did, I know the value which is created under the use context under the context. So user is the value which was created under the context. So I just get the value of user from from user context through a use context. Use context is something that which accepts a it's sort of like a hook. Hook is nothing but a function. You now we can treat this as use context as a hook, and this hook accept a accept it accepts a parameter called user context. So now this user context is the context which you have created globally. So this user context has a value of user. Now it will get the user value from this user context, and it will print the value of user. So now you avoided the prop drilling concept by using the use context hook. Okay, that is the power of use context hook. So now let's go back to the concept of use context. Now I have explained you the concept of use context. So programmatically I will be taking one example to show the power, to show how you can use context in real time. Then you can easily understand based on the real time project. Okay, see, now I'm trying to create, I'm trying now. So my problem statement is, I need to implement I need to implement a web page with ability to switch the theme, switch to dark mode and light mode. So I need to build a web page that has something ability to switch from dark mode to light mode, and switch from light mode to dark mode. Okay, so now what was the thing is, I'll just start with a project. So I'll go to use a terminal. Okay, I'll kill this. I'll go to terminal. Now inside demo hooks, I'll be creating create npm create. Then what else? White. I'm using white, right? Maybe white at the rate of latest. Okay. Now this will ask me to create a project. Now I'll just this as this is a use context hook. I'll be creating this with a project called use context. Okay. Now a white project. So I'll be creating use context. So I just give a name with as use context. Then package name would be use context. Then this would be in a React. Okay, then this would be in a JavaScript. Now I will be going into CD use context. So then what else? Then I'll be running the I'll be installing the I'll be running the npm install to get the packages which need for running the project. Okay, it would take some around 1 or 2 minutes. Once after its completion of installing, then we can move to next, understanding use context in real time. How do you use a use context in real time? So in what all the scenarios you'll be using use context? That's one major thing you need to observe. So majorly when it comes to something like, when it comes to understanding the use context, real time scenarios, you can use for two things. One is to control the in my basically throughout my experience, I have been utilized this use context particularly for small scenarios like switching the theme, and also something like creating a role based authentication, something like, or else we can say that protected authentication. We have used context API for that thing, but in general you can use any of the technologies. But I will be now using a context API and use context to demonstrate the how use context hook is being used. Okay, now let's go and see whether it got completed. Yeah, it got completed. Now I'll just run npm run dev. Okay, npm run dev, got it. Sorry, npm run dev, npm run dev. Now what happened? Just it will run a project on the port 5173. Now I'll be opening this one. Before that, I want to just clean up the code which is already there. I'll try to clean up this one, src app.jsx. I don't want all the code here. I'll just remove function app. So this is one. Inside this, return. Okay, so make sure that you are doing everything in a componentized architecture, because it says that module architecture. So when you follow the module architecture, that would be very much you will have, you can extend your app. It maintains all security it maintains all performance optimized architecture, and also something like when it comes to scalability, you can easily scale the project. Okay, so to make sure that you are using modularized module structure, we need to create each and every file separately. Okay, so first First, I want to create, I just create two things. So this is my root folder. Inside this root folder, I will be creating first what I'll be creating in main in app.jsx. My root file, root folder is there, app. Okay. Now I'll try to create theme context. Okay. So I am creating a context for theme. So I'll be naming it as theme context.js. Okay. Theme context.js. Okay. Here what I'll do. So my first aim is to create a context. Okay. Context. So what I'll be creating, I'll be creating a context with name called theme context. Okay, theme context. I can simply use React dot create context, and it should be from React library. Okay, it should be from React libraries. To do that, I can simply import a statement. As it's a named one. We can import just like this. Okay. Now we have created context. Okay. Now we have created context. Along with this, I will be to provide this theme context need to be provided across the application. For that thing, what I will be doing here means I will be creating one more component. I'll make this as a component. Okay. Instead of doing something like this, I can make this as a component. Export const theme provider theme context dot provider. Okay, we can do in this way, or else let's think of theme context provider, and this would be something like a function, and this returns some context to app. This returns some context to app. So let's think of like we have created one context. Okay, we created a context, and we are sending this created context and along with some controls to root level component. How do we send that? Okay, first I will be doing something like I'll be setting a variables which I need to control the theme. Okay. Now see, now go here, const theme. Initially on initial load, I need to make the theme as light based theme. Okay. Something like use state light. Okay, this is my initial state. Okay, initially I have something called const theme. Then what else? Then inside this return, I should have a return. What I will be doing means I need to provide this theme context to root level component. Okay, to root level component. Okay, now see we have something called inside this one. What actually you need to do, you need to provide the theme context. Okay, you need to provide the theme context to whom. I'll say you just observe the syntax for now. Observe the syntax for now. We shall discuss about what this actual syntax is doing. Okay, now what I did, I have just created theme provider, a component that holds the theme value, and it returns the theme context provider. For what it should return, it should return to whatever the component we are passing for the theme provider. So now we think of that this theme provider is it would be treated as a HOC, a higher order component. Something that here we will be getting here inside this one we will be getting a component a component as an argument. Component as a children. This children is nothing but a it is a parameter that receives argument from that receives a component as an argument. Okay, it's a parameter that receives component as an argument. Now what happened? So once you receive this one, what you will be doing, you want to provide the theme value to whom? You want to provide the theme value to children, all the children which are wrapped with theme provider. Okay, now what this actual component is doing, this theme provider component is holding the context value, and also context initial context to set the theme. It has a theme variables, and also it holds the value of theme context which you have created. Now now we successfully build something which can able to consume the context. So whatever the context you are building, theme context, now children would be getting the theme context. For this theme context, what you need to pass? You need to pass value as a value, and inside this value you can pass an object with values which need to send. You need to send theme and set theme. Okay, so this is where you have completed your setup. Okay, now I need to make some small arrangements, because what is here means, so he inside this theme context, you'll first you need to create a div. Okay, this div would have this parent, this is the parent div for children. Okay, why this parent div is applicable? So I'll show you. So as a when it comes to understanding, so when it comes to light theme or dark theme, what is the thing actually? What is the thing? I'll show here. I'll go here and I'll show you something like my project which I am working. Here you could see something called uh, now the page is in go it redirects. Now the page is in with dark mode. When I click here, it will change to light mode. When I click here, it will change to dark mode. So you are controlling. See, when you are in dark mode, the text is in white color and everything is something white color and background is in black, gray color. When you go here, the text changes to black color. So to demonstrate the use context, I will be using some dynamic class names. Dynamic classes based on the toggling. Dynamic classes based on the cloud toggling. For this we will be doing something like what we can do means here I will be giving class name inside class name. I will provide template referrals, maybe theme and theme. Okay, theme light. So it's a theme. If the theme value is light, it would be theme light. If theme value is dark, it would be theme dark. So I will be providing class names accordingly, and I'll be doing styling stuff also. For now, you understand you have created one component called theme provider. This component is able to pass the theme context to the children whichever it got as a prop. Now theme provide will get a prop called children. Okay, children. Now what will happen? Now here instead of exporting here, I will be doing one thing. I will be destructuring here itself. I'll be destructuring here itself with the help of custom hook. What I'll do? Export const. I will create a custom hook. Use theme. This would be, as I said to you, right? You can create a function. You can make one function as a hook with the help of use keyword. Now you created one hook called use context, and inside this one, you want to consume the value. You want to consume the value, and what value you need to consume? You need to consume the value called use context. Use context value you need to theme context value you need to consume. Okay. Now what it does actually? What it does? So here you need to understand something called here you have this theme provider. This theme provide maybe something like we need to export here also, I believe. Export const theme provider. This is the component. This component, what it does, it actually here at the line number 1, you created a context. At line number 6 to 14, 5 to 14, you just created a component theme provider. For the theme provider, you are providing a children. That means that you are providing component for this theme provider, and you are wrapping up that component with the theme provider with the logic inside the theme provider. Now this would be something like serving as HOC. Now higher order component. Now what it does, this theme provider, then in turn it will set the theme. It holds the variable for theme. Then inside this, what it return? It returns a component. It returns a children component. That children component will be wrapped up with theme context along with the provider. So what it does now, the children will get the provider. So now children will get the theme context, created theme context and its values. Okay, that's it. Now you are completed with theme context.js file. Now what you need to do means, what you need to define one thing. So you have something called variable set, but you need to set the theme on toggling. For this one, you will be creating one more function called toggle theme. Just don't confuse. It's a simple program. Simple program. This where you are controlling the toggling of theme. It means that if you want to toggle from light to dark, then left to dark to light, then you need to do something. What you will be doing, something like if it is something like light, you need to make it as dark, or if it is something like dark, you need to make it as light. You can simply make like this: set theme equal to light, then dark, and also something like this. Okay, you can either do in this way, and also you can use callback function, which I have been discussing in usted. Maybe probably this would work here. It doesn't have any more large number of iterations, large number of things. Like it's a simple thing. We can do that here. Okay, and I want to export this, and I want to send this one also to instead of set theme, instead of set theme, sending set theme, I will be sending this toggle theme. Okay. Now what our context has two things. One is theme value and one is toggle theme to set the theme. Okay. Now this is being sent to where it sent. Where from here you send the theme context with the help of use context to use theme. Now this is a custom function. This is a custom function and it has use keyword. Hence it is known as a hook. And use theme is a custom hook now. Use theme is a custom hook. Custom hook. It seems that what is the I will explain you what is the what is the difference. What actually custom hook. Okay. Now please understand that you created one custom hook. Inside that custom hook you have utilized use context to consume the context value. Now what happened? Now after this you want to create one component that toggle that enables user to toggle. Okay, toggle.js. Okay, now you're creating a theme toggle.js. Here what you are doing means I'll just create a shortcut to save the time. RAFC. Okay. Okay, team toggle. Inside this team toggle, where what I need to do, I need to get the context value. Already I'm exporting that context value using use theme. You could see here, right? You could see here, right? With the use theme, I'm already exporting the context value. So you can simply go here and you can destructure the values. Whatever the thing it is returning. Theme toggle theme is returning by who? Use context. I'm using this use context theme context directly where here, right here I'm using, right. Then instead of this one you can simply take this one and you can simply keep it as this one, use theme. Now use theme is from where? Use theme is from parent component which you have created. This is a custom hook. Now this serves as a purpose of a custom hook. You don't want to write again and again. If you want you have some deeply nested components, deeply so many components, and you don't need to repeat again and again this one. Okay, you don't need to repeat again and again use context something like. You just simply use theme when you use theme hook. It returns the value of theme and toggle. Team and toggle. Okay, team and toggle. If team and toggle theme. Okay, now what happens inside this return I will be having one button. Inside this toggle I will be having one button. Okay, one button on click toggle theme. Okay, now what it does inside this, I'll be, instead of doing this one, I'll be writing some text. Switch to, for better understanding, sorry, switch to theme light if it is light dark, then if it's dark then it's light. Okay, it both check for theme value and toggle value. So this is the button component that toggles the theme. Okay, now I need to use this in my I need to use this in my app.js. Okay, I need to use this in my app.js. Now I have two components. One component is for setting the theme and one component is for setting the toggle. Okay, you need to be modularized. You need to make it everything module. And even you can even create something. This is one thing, this is one component, and this is one component, and this is also one component. You can do it in a three. You can split this file into three components, but it is not necessary, not that much of necessary now. Okay, now we go to app.jsx. Now what here you need to do? Here you need to do something called um something. Okay, let me see what I can do. Div, maybe something like we have something called h1, something like toggle thing. Maybe I create one h1 to toggle to show the title toggle thing. Then inside this what I will be doing means, maybe for this one, for class name, for div I'll be giving class name content. Okay, content. Okay, done. I'm done from my side. Content. So I have created one component. I'm creating component with CSS now. Okay, now what actually, now I need to, along with toggle theme, I need to show a button, right? Where my button is getting, I'm getting my button from team toggle. So I just created team toggle and get it here. After this one I will be creating one section. Okay, I will be creating one section. Okay, section section. Inside this section, what actually I'm doing means, inside this section I will be Okay. Inside this section, it's okay. Inside this section, I'll have something called by content paragraph lorem ipsum. Okay. Let us think as lorem ipsum. Okay. Lorem lorem ipsum. Okay. Lorem ipsum. Done. Okay. Now I have created section toggle theme button. Then I'm using, then for this one, I will be going to app.css, and here what I'll do means I'll remove all this one, because I can even create a new file, but I for now I'll be creating this one. No issues. It doesn't, it won't make any problem for me for now. Import React from React. Then here, mm, it's okay. Now I'll be getting this import app dot app dot import app.css. Okay, now you got the app.css. Fine, that's fine. Inside our app.css, I'll be preparing the what I'll be preparing the CSS. Okay, let's think of like we have a body. We have just, I'll prepare a body. For this body, I'll be controlling, for our understanding, margin equal to 0. That's fine. Then we don't want anything apart from this margin padding. Okay, see, it already generated some content. Theme light, theme dark. Okay, theme light and theme dark. So here background color will be F and background color will be color. Okay, body will be same thing. That's all. That's all. That's all. That's this is enough. This is enough. Now you have app.css with a class name theme light, with a class name theme dark. Now what happens? This app.css would be applicable for app component. Now what we need to next, our next step is to what we can do here. Mm, okay. Okay. App.jsx is fine. You have given here app. Then you have something called theme provider. You are providing theme context to provider using this one. That's fine. That's fine. To make it modularized, we have maintained this one app.jsx. Now app. This app need to go for theme context provider. Okay. Now you will see something like, let's see here what happened. What failed to pass import analysis JS if you are using JS. Okay. Okay. Maybe something like we are using JSX. JSX. Okay. Now I don't think so. We'll see that error again. Okay. Control Shift I. Console. Okay. That's fine. No problem. Where is this app? Theme toggle, theme app.jsx, fine, app toggle theme. You need to get this one, main.jsx app.jsx, export default app. This is fine. Why this is not loading? Cannot destructor property as it's undefined. Okay. Where is theme? Theme context, use theme. Why do we need to do here? Maybe it's better instead of this thing, you can go here and get the thing to be done. Okay, you can get this from use context, then you can get the theme context too. Theme as you are exporting it. Okay, now I believe it should work now. Where is this? I shall remove this for now. Okay, we don't have that the export theme. Okay, we don't have this one. Export cons theme context. Why do we need to export this one? We are not even using this one here. Export theme context. We are showing theme context dot provider value children. That's fine. Okay, I believe there is some small error. Theme context, it's exporting. I'm using theme context directly. That's fine. And even without this also, it should work, but I'm not sure how it's not working. Let's see. Use context, theme context. That's fine. This is a custom hook, and you'll get here, and we'll use theme here. That's fine. And we don't want use context to be used everywhere because we should need to use in a efficient way. Okay. Now, then what else? Then what else? Then these use theme need to be exported, imported here. That's fine. Now what happens? Then the next thing, any error here? Yeah, it has some error. Okay. Now what happens? It's fine. Use theme. I need to import it. I'm importing correctly only. That's fine. Team toggle, this fine. And app.jsx. Okay, what is error? Okay, yeah. I need to check it. Theme context. We have a provider component. This component, you need to provide children for this component. Okay. Now inside here, you will be doing some stuff called uh, theme provider. For the theme provider, you have something to be provided. Now, whatever the thing you are providing for this one, it will be go as a children for this one. Okay. Now you have provided theme provider and get the component from there. That's all. I believe now it should be able to work. Let's check it out. Theme context does not provided export name. Where is getting theme toggle.jsx. Theme toggle.jsx. Okay, theme toggle.jsx. Okay, I shall remove this one for now. I don't want use context. I believe this should work, but why it's not? Yeah. Now see, now what happens? I have created a context. Created a context with what is my context actually? I have created a context called theme context. Then inside this theme context, I have created one component called theme provider that accepts the children, and for that children, I'm setting the theme. I'm setting the theme, and also I'm setting the ability to toggle the theme. Now what happens for the inside these children, I have created app, I'm setting the app component as a children. Here I have a logic to toggle the theme, and as I'm provide this button has a ability to toggle the theme, and as I'm providing these children completely to theme provider, and theme provider will receive this one first, will receive these children, and it applies whatever the theme we are giving for these children. Okay, now I'll go and test it out. uh, Now I refresh the page. Now see, I'll just turn it out, switch to dark. See, it's working. It was it working. You are able to see the dark theme and light theme, dark theme and light theme, dark theme and light theme. So the text is being changed into text, white and black and white. Okay, this is how you need to. So basically, the concept of use context is to consume the context. See, you are consuming the context here. How you are consuming the context? You are just consuming the context from use context with the help of use context hook, and you are exporting this one, exporting with the help of custom hook. So here you have covered the concept of custom hook also. As I said that a hook is nothing but a plain JavaScript function only, right? So it's sort of like a plain JavaScript function, but it has a keyword called use. You have a keyword called use. Then this will become a use theme custom hook. And here where what actually context is theme context is sending me? Theme context is sending me an object with theme and toggle. So this will be returned by whom now? This will be returned by theme context for whom? For use theme. And inside I will be calling this use theme from my actual component. Theme toggle component, I'll be calling this use theme custom hook, and use theme hook will return the value of theme and toggle theme, which is returned by the theme context. Okay. Now this theme value is what I could have this toggle theme. Toggle theme, what toggle theme? Where is toggle theme? Toggle theme is present here. Toggle theme, if it is light theme, it will set as a dark theme, or if it is dark theme, it will be setting as a light theme. That's what here you can switch to theme light and dark and light. Okay, on click toggle theme. Now the same thing is seeing here. You're seeing. Now you can switch to light and switch to dark, switch to light, switch to light, and switch to dark. Okay, this is how you need to make use of context hook. Okay, it's not only used for toggle theme, and also you can use it for authentication from small scenarios to be taken care with the help of context API. Those things we can easily adapt. So this is about use context hook, and the next hook I just provided this example here. You can take it out and you can try it out from your side also, maybe with some more enhancements also I just gave you. So it's sort of like this is where we have covered use context hook and use state hook and use effect hook. Now we'll be covering the concepts of use ref, then use callback, then use memo. There we will be wrapping up the built-in hooks, and I'll try to build one custom hook and I'll wrap the component hooks class. Now we shall go to immediate concept called useref concept. Actually, I shall give you a small glance about useref. Useref is nothing but it's sort of like a state variable. It behaves just like a use state variable. In a use state variable, what you are able to mutate the value. Once the value is mutated, along with the mutation, what happens? The component will get re-rendered, right? The same thing would be happening here also. The same thing would be happening here also, but the updation would be happening. But the re-render would be restricted. By using use ref, you can you can you can update the value, but the re-rendering would not be happened. The re-rendering would not be happened. Thereby, we can see a scenario something like where if you want to update the value, but if you don't want the re-render, then you can avoid using use state and you can simply use ref. Okay, in such places. Okay, so this is a small glance about use ref. Use ref, and the key point is the value of ref will be same between the between the re-renders, it will be same. It won't even trigger any re-render if the value got updated. Okay, that's you need to understand, and there are many use cases for use ref. I'll be explaining one by one regarding to that. Just we can try it out with an example. For this, with an example, and we try to understand the user of hook. Okay. So to understand the use of hook, first you need to. I already gave you the glance. What is the difference between use ref and use state hook? So primary difference. Remember the primary difference. Use ref is used to avoid the re-renders. Okay. So the use ref will not create a re-render when it updates the value. Now we'll see how useref is behaving, how useref is particularly updating the value. So what is the mechanism behind the useref? Then we shall compare it with usestate. Then we can understand better. Then we can understand better. For now, I just want to make you understand useref hook with the help of small example. Okay. So for initially the syntax would be something like, I'll start with syntax. Syntax would be something like use ref. Okay, use ref, and it holds an initial value. Okay, just like state, set state. It also holds one initial value. One initial value? Okay, one initial value. What it does actually. Now let's understand use ref. So basically, when you see the name ref, so what do you mean by reference actually? What do you mean by ref? A ref is nothing but reference. Remember, ref is nothing but a reference. So I want to create one small example for this particular project. For this one, I will just create one more project with for demonstrating the use ref. That would be very much useful to track your progress. Okay, npm create. Just do in what way I'm doing. Okay, right at the rate of latest. Okay, latest. That's fine. Now it will create a project with maybe I'm demonstrating use context, not use context, use ref. Okay, use ref. I'll just create a use ref, then use ref project name. user of project name, it will take React, then it will take JavaScript, then I'll just go to here, use ref. Okay, use ref, then npm install. It will take some time to install all the packages. Let's wait for a few minutes. Mean the time, I'll discuss the basic concept, what is behind use. So when you see something that in your component, if you have something const, let's take an example of const person. Okay, const person equal to some object. So this is an object. Okay, this is an object. Particularly take this as a non-primitive data type. It's an object. When you try to do something, when actually you have a component A. Inside this component A, you have this value const person equal to object. So let us assume that if that component A is being re-rendered again and again, okay, being re-rendered again and again. If you for the first render, this const person would be pointing to one reference, okay. One second. Okay, so this const person is there, right? This const person, what, what person actually will do? This const person each and every letter, what it actually does is it will create a new object, and then it will be point to different multiple directions. I'll show you just let's uh, understand instead of so instead of saying okay, now I will go to here and check for whether it completes explanation. It's still going on. Let's wait for a few seconds. It's taking much time. It's taking much time. Actually, let's see. Come on, let's complete it fast up. Okay, now it got installed. Then I'll run a dev server that will run a server. Now I'll try to demonstrate how we are using Vita ref. Okay, I'll just close all the existing files. I'll just go to the file uh, named use ref. Okay, here I'll be going to use. Then inside this app, I don't want to see all the stuff which is not related to my demonstration. Okay, now we have something called app.js. That's fine. That's fine. App.js is clean now. Now what I will be doing means I'll be creating one object. Person, and this is an object which has details name John and age 30. Okay, now this is a person object. Now I have a question. So here I am just showing div inside this term person.name. Okay, this is fine. Okay, now I just loaded this one. I'll just go here and I'll try to refresh the page. Okay, I'll try to refresh the page. Now you see John Doe. Okay, John Doe is there. Okay, now if I refresh again, what happens? If I refresh again, you are seeing one more render and it's rendering the name. If I refresh again, you're seeing again rendering again. Okay, rendering the name. Now, what I have a question. So this is an object actually. So here initially on first render person. Actually, this is a non-primitive data type. Non-primitive data type. Okay. The thing which you are dealing with is a non-primitive data type. Non-primitive data type. Non-primitive data type. It seems that it's an object. Okay, it's an object. So it will be stored. The person will be storing. Weapon will be. Sorry. It will be stored. It will be stored in heap memory. Heap memory. Heap memory. Okay, it will be stored in heap memory. But the reference would be storing in. Reference would be storing in. Reference would be storing in stack memory. This you need to understand. I have been constantly saying about this one, but you need to understand this one: heap memory and stack memory. So primitive variables are directly stored in stack memory, where non-primitive data types are stored in heap memory, but the reference is stored in stack memory. Okay, reference is nothing but variable names. Okay, now what happens means, so on initial render, the person object storing in will be pointing to some location. Let's assume that location may be user 100. Okay, user 100. Okay, now what happens? This is for first render. This is for first render. On first render. Okay, on first render. Now we have something called a re-render triggered. A person new object will be pointing to some location user 101 on second render. Okay, and same thing when you have something called another one more render. If you have something called one more render, then it will be pointing to some other reference. Okay, see, on each and every render, what happens? The pointing of memory location is keep on changing. That to understand that one, we can see directly. Okay, so we can see one thing. We can observe that thing with an example. Let's take an example. Like const. I have ref array. I'll be creating one array. I'll be storing all the references inside this one. Okay, I'll be storing all the references inside. Okay, now what happens means I'll be using list every time a list sorry ref array dot push person. Okay, ref array dot push person. It would not ref array dot push person. Okay, ref array dot push person. What it will do means, for every render it will update the array with person object. It will update the array with person object. Actually, what here actually happened means, I'll just show you of to tracking to for the tracking. I'll just create one more state variable for triggering the re-renders. Something like mm, count. Maybe count is enough. Set count. Okay, I'll get the use state hook. Okay, now I'll be showing the count. Just don't get confused. This is very simple thing, and it's not something like big thing. It's a simple thing. Just you need to understand the concept. That's it. Okay, increment, and on click set count equal to count plus 0. Okay, done. Now you are done with initial setup to understand the values, how this is being. So first, at initial render, a person object is created. And for that inside that ref array, it got pushed. Okay, it got pushed. On second render, again a new new object would be created, and it will be pushed to referent array. And third render. So now we'll be asserting two things. Okay, we'll be asserting ref array of 0, ref array ref array of 0, ref e triple equal to ref array of 1. If we compare and if we found this is true, if you found this is true, then it is pointing to the same location. If it is different, it would be pointing to different location. Now to understand this one, what I'll be doing means see, actually what I'll be, if I will write something like if ref array dot length triple equal to 2, triple equal to 2, or else you cannot, you don't want to do, okay, it's okay. For better error handling, we can do some, we can check its length and we can do something like this, okay? And we want to identify whether these both are true or false. This is true or false, okay? Console.log of this one. So now see ref array. For the first render, it will be storing in some different location. If second array, in the second render, it will be storing in different location. So you need to check whether this ref array 0 and ref array 1 are equal or not. Now it will be compared by using its references, okay? Its references, not by its values, okay? It compares by using references, okay? Now when you go here and when you run this one, okay? Run this one. I'll just refresh the page in console. You have increment. It's getting here. What happened? Ref const user, that's fine. Const person, that's fine. Person referred at push. Person, then fine. Const list of log, this is fine. Now you need to click on it and you need to set this one. This is fine. Maybe you can do one thing. We can do one thing. You can do one thing. Can place here and just observe the things how it goes. Okay. Ref dot array, ref dot push person. I am pushing the person. That's fine. That's fine. That's well and good. Now you see what happens. Now see now what happens when you click on app.jsx. It's a false. Now I just refresh. I'll just refresh. For now, instead of before this one, we shall console what actually ref array has. Okay, console.log of ref array. I'll explain you. Don't worry. 1 second. Just let us check. Let us check first. Okay, nice. It has two objects. One is John Doe. How it has two objects at initial render? Hmm. Why it's creating two things? Maybe am I using React strict mode? Where is the strict main.js? Okay, I'll just remove this one. Okay. Okay. Now initial place you don't have. Now when you click on increment, you see two objects. Okay, two objects. So this is first one. This is first render and this is second render. Now see on the first render you are seeing some value pushed to array, and second render you are seeing some value pushed to array. Now the length is 2, and when you are asserting zeroth element and first element, what you are seeing? You are just asserting the zeroth element and first element, right? You are asserting ref array of 0 and ref array of 1. You are asserting whether you're checking is true. So now see the values are same. Here you could see the values are same. But what you are seeing actually, this is false. This is false because this is some different location. This object is some play is from different location, and this object is from different location. That you need to understand. So now this is pointing to two different memory locations. That is the reason it is now our assumption is correct. Person object will be pointing to some location user 100 and first render, and person new object will be pointing to some other location 101 on second render. Now you have to see that both are not equal. Both are not equal. This is you are equal. You are just asserting towards 1 0 and 1. So you are checking for either true thing, but you are getting false because these two are different locations. Now useref is one hook that holds a single reference throughout the renders. Okay, now what happened means, now what we can do means we can simply do one thing. Now instead of doing something like this, we can use useref. You can use useref. So how does useref work actually? I'll explain you how does useref work. Okay, now we'll just go here and check for useref. Useref is something like it accepts initial value, initial initial value. This value is something that which is stored on return once it gets the initial value, once you pass the initial value, what it returns means it returns an object that has current property, and whatever the initial value you passed, that would be stored at the initial render. Okay, now understand very clearly. Useref is a hook that have the initial value, and it returns an object with current property, and that current property would have a value called initial value, would have the value initial value set as current. Okay, now understand. Now if you want to access this useref value, if you want to access this useref value, you need to assign that useref to, for example, ref equal to useref useref something like 12, maybe 10, you think of 10. Okay, you need to get this useref from React and 10. Now if you see something like console dot log of ref.current ref.current. Now, if you see this one, what happens means when you try to run this program, let you run the program, you'll see something called on the render, you'll be see something like you're seeing the value of 10, because so it is actually use ref is something like ref is a value, is a variable that stores the value written by useref of 10. So what is useref of 10? Useref of 10 is the initial value, and useref will return an object with a property called current, and the value of current would be the initial value which you have passed. Okay, so now useref has a value past 10, and this current value has that value. That is the reason why to access the object property in object, we need to use dot notation, right? So ref.current will now give me the value of 10. Okay, now give me the value of 10. Now understand. So now what I'm doing, I'll be trying to do something. Now instead of making this person as something like this, I will just make I'll just make something like, I'll just copy this one, and I'll be passing for initial value, instead of 10 I'll be passing here, and I'll be commenting out this one, and I'll be creating ref person. Okay, ref person, and I'll remove this one for now. Now if you see something like, if you see something like console log console dot log of ref person dot current. If you just type this one, and if you try to access this name, you need to access something like ref person dot current dot name. Now when you go here, when I try to re-render, you'll see John Doe. Okay, you'll see John Doe. Okay, why is rendering toggle time again? Maybe. Okay, this is not. Okay, I'll just comment it out for now. Okay, this one also I just comment it out for now. Okay, now you'll see something like a clear console with no errors. Okay, now you'll see John Doe. Okay, John Doe is printing. So how you are accessing? So you have created a reference using useref, and for that useref you passed an initial value as an object. Then what you did? You just utilized current to destructure the name value. Here you want to observe something like, now again I am doing something current. Now what happens? So on every render, on first render, as I said, that person object will be pointed to some location user 100, right, on first render. Now when you use useref, when you involve useref here, what happens means the person object will be pointed to some location user 100, and the person new object, it won't create a new object, and the person object will be pointing to same location. Okay, same location user 100 on second render also, and same thing happens for third render. On third render also, it will be pointing to same location, and user it is pointing to same location on third render also. So through this one, I will actually show you one thing. Okay, we have ref array. Inside this ref array, we will be pushing the ref person. Okay, we'll be pushing the ref person. Okay, ref person. Now if we see something like Now, what is the expectation? It should be true. Now we'll go here and we just refresh and we just try to do this one and you click on increment. Now see, now you're seeing true value. See, now you're seeing true value. Before you had seen that false value. What is true value means? Now the thing is that use ref inside this ref array, you are on first render. On first render, what you passed? Here on first render, you passed an object. You passed an object something zeroth element, and after the second render, you passed an element with first index. So now you are comparing both zeroth element and first element. It is giving true. That means that it is referring to the same memory address, same memory address. So useref is one such hook which holds the reference to the same even after multiple renders across the component. It holds a single reference. It doesn't change the reference for each for every render. For every render, it doesn't change. Okay, it doesn't change. Now where we will be using this type of use reference, this type of things where we'll be using, where we will be using this use ref. So use ref is particularly used for maybe we can say that uncontrolled components. I'll be explaining what is this uncontrolled components in future class. But let us assume that when it comes to uncontrolled components, in uncontrolled components, the state of a component would be managed by DOM itself, not the React component. You won't create any React, you won't create any state variable, and we don't assign any value and we don't bind the state variable. But instead, the DOM, state of that the the state of that particular thing would be managed by only the state of that object would be for example, what we can say that the state would be managed by only a DOM itself. Actually, at that purpose we will be using useref. So I'll be explaining an example to demonstrate that one. Uh, okay, let's go to the document. Here you could see something inside here. I just created one example. Okay, see, I'll just quickly wrap it up. No issues. We can just quickly wrap it up. I'll just get this one here, and we don't want all this stuff. We want only this one. Okay, this is enough. Input ref. So what I am doing here means I'll just remove all the code here which is present. I'll just try to remove this one. Okay. Now, okay, what I did, I have removed all those things which is not necessary. I just used something like use effect. Okay, now what happened? What happened means, now see, I have just created input ref, and I just used use ref, and I assigned initial value as null. Okay, initial value as null. Now after that, I have created one element called input element, and I have attached that reference it's something like a attribute. We can think a ref as an attribute. For that attribute, I am providing a value called input ref. Okay, I am just binding this one to binding this input ref to this input box. Okay, now what happens means when I render and after the DOM rendering, what happens inside this use effect? I am just I am setting the current to focus. I'm setting the input ref dot current. Input ref dot current means it's the current value of input ref. So I'm setting that current value to focus the element. So now what happens means if I run this one, you can see when I re-render this one, you'll see a immediate focus is happening. See, now when I quickly re-render, you see the focus is happening here. The focus is happening. Autofocus is happening, and you can even something do that. What we can do means I will give one more example. Okay, and I can give one more example. Okay, let's take an example. Input, instead of this input, I'll just wrap it up inside. Then along with this input, I will be creating one more div. Okay, one more div here. For that div, I will be creating one ref. Okay, one ref, and for this ref, I will be creating what I will be creating some ref called div ref. I'll create div ref, and I'll attach a div ref. Okay, just wait a second, you can understand better. Then you have something called this div reference is moved inside the thing. Now you have something like div reference. So along with input reference, what I'll be trying to create one more ref called div ref. Okay, div ref. Okay, div ref. Then here, use ref, and for example, you have something called null. Okay, null, and on use effect, I'll be trying to do something like input. No, no, I don't want to do something like this. Wait. Um. Okay. Okay, right. Then here what we can do means div ref. I try to access the element div ref dot current. Then this current would be something like element which is the div element. Div element would be storing at current. Now for this one, I'll be just accessing inner text. This would serve as a DOM element. I'll be just using hello. Now what happens? Let's see. Now you see what happened. You see what happened. Now once it got re-rendered. You're seeing hello, but did I have anything inside div? No, we don't have anything here. So for demonstration purpose, what I can do means I can give something like dummy value name name. I can show you right away. Okay, or else something like I'll keep breakpoint, then that would be very much fine. Okay, input here breakpoint, and here okay, here breakpoint. Okay, now I'll just refresh this first render. The browser has not been painted, and user has a null value and current is null value. I'll go to next function call. Here you see name first. What you are seeing at line number 11, the initial value we have set it as a name, but you are trying to set divref dot current dot inner text to hello. When it would be happening, when you run the use effect, when this code got executed, then this name would be changing into hello. Just observe the difference. Huh? Then you'll go here, and right now you are not even seeing the focus also. Okay, after this one you'll see the focus. See, you saw the focus and name got changed to hello. So here there is no rendering. Have you used any of the have you this due it got into use effect, it updated the text. Had it came here? No, I don't think so. It doesn't even came here. See, now if I do here, uh, see now, then input ref, then that's it. That's it. It's not re-rendering. It's not re-rendering the component, but you could able to see the value. So here the major difference between use ref and use state is something that with the help of use ref, you can update the value, but it doesn't trigger any re-render. But in use state, it will trigger the re-render and it will update the value. So when it comes to handling the DOM, particularly DOM events and DOM manipulations, you can better prefer useref instead of usestate. That would works well for you. Okay. So this is the concept of that would works well actually. You need to prefer useref when it comes to particular useref over use state when the mutation should be happened, but there should be no re-renders. Then in this case you will be seeing something like useref concept. See here, simple example. I just created one example, set state and useref value. What I did, const update value. I'm setting the state, it will trigger the re-render, and ref dot current plus one, it will not trigger the re-render. And you can say, check this component, you can check this component actually, you can simply check this component, how it works actually. How it works, you can take this code and you can check it out. Okay, that's all about the use ref component, and I will be continuing this with another hooks while just in while. So I believe you guys are able to understand the concept of use context and use ref, and coming you will be checking about use callback and use memo. Once you checked out use callback and use memo, then the hooks concept would be almost covered. Then we shall move to some advanced concepts. Okay.